By 1795, Napoleon Bonaparte was no longer an unknown officer. His victory at Toulon had made him famous, but fame alone could disappear overnight. France was drowning in political chaos. The revolution had overthrown the monarchy, yet peace never came. Hunger, violence, and fear filled the streets of Paris. Then one day, thousands of armed royalists marched toward the government. If they succeeded, the French Revolution would collapse. Only one man believed he could stop them. That man was Napoleon Bonaparte. On October 5, 1795, thousands of royalist supporters gathered in Paris. Their goal was simple: overthrow the revolutionary government known as the Directory. Government leaders were terrified. Most generals hesitated. They feared that if they failed, they would be executed. Napoleon thought differently. He knew speed would decide everything. His first order was to secure the city's artillery before the rebels could capture it. A young cavalry officer named Joachim Murat successfully brought the cannons to Napoleon. Without those cannons, Napoleon knew the government had almost no chance of survival. As the royalist forces advanced through the narrow streets of Paris, Napoleon waited. He allowed them to come closer. Then he gave one of the most famous orders in military history. The French artillery fired grapeshot, a deadly anti-personnel ammunition that scattered hundreds of metal balls across the streets. Within minutes, the attacking force broke apart. The rebellion collapsed almost instantly. Paris was saved. The revolutionary government survived, and Napoleon became the hero of France. His success changed everything. The Directory rewarded him by appointing him commander of the Army of Italy. Many politicians believed it was an impossible assignment. The army was poorly equipped. Soldiers were hungry. Their uniforms were worn out. Many had gone months without proper pay. Experienced officers believed this army could never defeat Austria. Napoleon saw something different. He saw opportunity. When he arrived, he addressed his exhausted soldiers with a speech they would never forget. "You are hungry and poorly clothed," he told them, "but I will lead you into the richest plains in the world." The soldiers believed him. For the first time, they had a commander who shared their hardships. Napoleon marched with them. He planned every movement carefully. Instead of fighting slow defensive battles, he moved faster than his enemies expected. He attacked isolated armies before they could unite. Again and again, his strategy worked. In northern Italy, Napoleon defeated larger Austrian and Piedmontese forces in a series of stunning victories. Europe watched in disbelief. A young general in his 20s was defeating armies led by commanders with decades of experience. His reputation spread across the continent. Napoleon was no longer simply a successful officer. He had become a military genius. During this period, another important event changed his personal life. In 1796, Napoleon married Joséphine de Beauharnais, a widow who was older than him and well-connected in Parisian society. Napoleon loved her deeply and wrote passionate letters. While away on military campaigns, their marriage became one of the most famous relationships in European history. By 1797, Napoleon forced Austria to negotiate peace. The Treaty of Campo Formio gave France major territorial gains and made Napoleon the most celebrated general in the country. People across France admired him. Newspapers praised him. His victories made him more popular than many politicians. The Directory began to worry. The government had created a hero, but now that hero had become more powerful than the government itself. Napoleon understood that military victories alone would never secure lasting power. He needed political influence. Soon, he would leave the battlefields of Italy for an even greater challenge, a mission that would take him to the deserts of Egypt, and eventually bring him one step closer to ruling all of France. In the final episode, Napoleon reaches the height of his power, crowns himself emperor, invades Russia, faces the disastrous Battle of Waterloo, and leaves behind one of the greatest legacies in world history.